you made yesterday the threshold for donors to qualify for the September 12th debate. Can you make the polling threshold in the next week?
We don't know. When the poll results come out, we'll know.
Do you think you have? Can you give us any sense of where you think you'll stand?
I don't know. It doesn't. I might not make it, but you know, the point is, I'm still in the race whether I make those poll results or not.
So. You are. And so to folks who say, well, if you don't qualify for this debate, maybe it's time to get out, you say?
I say this train's on a roll.
Switching gears now, there's been a lot of talk here on Wall Street as well as Main Street and all throughout the world about whether or not the U.S. economy is headed toward a recession. What would a President Marianne Williamson do to avert another financial crisis?
Well, first of all, I think that we have to look at why we're even in the straits that we're in. I think we need to not always be reactive. We need to actually look at the whole picture and talk about why are we even in this kind of economic chaos. And we're in this kind of economic chaos because we have a lack of stability in the way we see the economy, in the way we hold it in general. I believe very strongly we need a fundamental pattern disruption in where we see money, what we think money is, and where it comes from. This president has had a very chaotic economic policy, as we know. I think the tariffs and the way he has applied them has certainly helped create this, but also I think investors and citizens want to know that this ship is fairly stable and we can exist within that. So I feel that our economic policy needs to shift strongly towards education, towards the young. I believe that money comes from the productivity and the creativity of the American people. I don't believe that money comes from a few job creators who then trickle down because the stockholders got more money and they create jobs. That's not my view of money. That's not my view of a righteous or moral economy. My view of a righteous and moral economy is where we unleash the dreams of the American people, uncap them, allow people through education, through access to health care, through access to capital, actually live their dreams. That is the kind of fundamental shift that needs to occur and will occur.
We were talking about this before you were coming on, and your career is largely the American dream.
Yes, it is.
And we talked about this a little bit in the spin room in Detroit following the debate. But do you consider yourself a capitalist?
Absolutely, I do.
And a proud capitalist?
Pardon?
A proud capitalist?
Well, yes, I have an experience of the upside of capitalism. The problem in America is not that some people can create wealth. The problem in America today is that not enough people can create wealth. Righteous people don't want to feel that they make money at the expense of other people having a chance to. That's the problem today. If you're in the club in America, if you've made it, this is a great place to be. The problem today is that not enough people can get into the club. That is the conversation today.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because over the last 40 years, we have transferred the availability and advocacy for wealth creation into the hands of very, very few of our people. So that 1% today of Americans own more wealth than the bottom 90%, the greatest wealth inequality in almost 100 years. This is changing, though. Hopefully, you have the business roundtable conversation that came out the other day. This idea that short-term profit maximization for huge multinational corporate entities should be given greater advocacy by the U.S. government than the health and well-being of the American people. That's got to stop.
All right, I've got two more quick topics I want to hit on. Earlier today, you were at the African American U.S. Chamber of Commerce talking about policy issues like reparations. What do you say to skeptics of reparations? Why is it important for there to be some type of commission to discuss this nationally?
Well, because anything in your life, whether it's your economy or anything else, you've got to go back to your principles. In any system, whether it's an individual's life or a nation's life, you can't have the abundant future that you want if you're not willing to clean up the past. And when it comes to the economic disparity between blacks and whites in America, it came from someplace. It came from slavery. And this is all the legacy of slavery. And you just clean it up. The idea of economic restitution from one people when a wrong has been done to another is not a fringe notion.
I want to ask a follow-up on this. What you're advocating for is not necessarily a check to every African American in the country. You're calling for investment in... Absolutely.
What I'm calling for is money that would be dispersed to a commission of a reparations council of people who are very, very, obviously they're very learned on the subject, whether it's someone like Sandy Darity, professor at Duke University, or very successful black businessmen, all of whom are descendants of slaves. The money would be dispersed over a period of 20 years. The money would be under the stipulation of that the United States government is giving this money for economic and educational renewal. renewal. Then how it is applied, it could be historical black colleges, it could be black chambers of commerce, it could be particularly wealth creating opportunities, capital investment, et cetera, in different neighborhoods. That would be up to this council. White America should not be deciding. If I owe you money, I don't get to tell you how to spend it. So I can say economic and educational renewal. The moral power of reparations is different than race-based policies. Race-based policies leaves open the question of whose fault it is that this gap exists.